Okay, so I'm finally starting to understand what Jones was talking about, right? Let me just turn this light on here. Right, okay. So he told me to just go back to the open chords, start with the basics again, right? So, it's shit like that. Whatever, right? And then he was telling me that I can take that and throw it into my bar chords. So, okay, right here is a box. One, two, three, three frets. The bottom of that box is the top of the next box. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So I can play my open, chords and everything like that, and I can still do the same thing here. Yada yada and whatever. So I can play everything right here. Yeah. Oh, that's why. There we go. Right. So I play that G shape right here. I need to work on that, right? But more importantly, that put aside, it leads into the next idea, which are the triads and everything, So those, that, and this. Right? So those are the basic, bar chord, open chord shapes, just, simplified. But with the inversions, I can, do those, that, this, right? Yeah, yada yada, whatever. But I can start doing things like this. So I have the simple A shape. On top of that, I have this chord, and that's another triad right here. That's a minor. That's a major. That is a minor. Wait, no, that's a major as well. So what? Right, that's major. That's major. I obviously need to work on it better, but I know how to take the chord shapes, the triads, and the inversions that I know and do with basic embellishments and with the boxes that I figured out and how they overlap with each other. I can find the notes that are within the scale to add on to that, which makes it so much easier for me to make the melodies within the chord shape, right? So like I was doing a simple thing like the G. Right? Now let's do that with this triad right here. Okay, so hold on. It'll sound better with the minor right there. Or I can do the C. I'm still trying to get used to it, but you can hear the idea of the melodies being laid on top of it, and they sound a lot better than what they used to sound like, right? So if I can find the notes that are within the chord and apply them more to the scales of what I'm doing, now I know that I can do the embellishments, right? And I can play whatever notes within the chord, but within the scale, I mean, but some of the notes in the chord don't really line up with some of the notes in that scale. Now, it could be that I'm just playing the wrong scale shape, which is, easy to fix. I'll just play a fucking different scale shape, right? But there's always at least one note that ends up clashing with the shit that's inside the fucking chord. So if I need to play a different scale shape, but it still clashes, then obviously it has to deal with the fact that the notes in the chord itself are not lining up with every single note that's in that scale. And that's fine. I just need to figure out which ones don't line up so that I can figure out how to arrange it and everything. It also depends on like where the note is fretted inside of the chord. Because like the A minor, right? Or the A major. Like if I just bar that shape right there, it's all going to be the same pattern of skipping that half step, going to the whole step, and yada yada, and they'll all align with each other, right? But some of the notes within that simple bar just don't line up if I want to put in a half step, like let's say on the middle one. Doesn't really work if I go all the way to a full step on there. So yeah, it has to be the notes in the scale not lining up with the notes inside the chord. So embellishments, hammer-ons, and pull-offs with specifically placed notes in the scales, but lining up with the chord notes to make a good melody. You see what I mean?